everybody, it's Michelle LaVore and
Devin Moore coming at you. It's been a couple days, hasn't it?
It has been a couple days.
Lots been going on the past couple days.
There's been a lot of spring cleaning these last couple days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
is that true or is that really true?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it really has been like this whole week, like, you know, it started off kind of like on a smaller scale and it just kept going through the week of...
Yes, because we made a couple videos on the smaller scale stuff.
Yeah, and then...
The last 2 days...
Oh my gosh, God was just hitting some of these like huge areas for us.
Like that end of the video game giant that you have to fight back in the old days. That's what it was like.
Yeah. But you know, God is so good, and He brought some breakthrough, and not just some, but a lot of breakthrough, and just brought some healing, and so it was just really awesome. Mm-hmm. But that's not really what we're going to talk about today, but we just wanted to kind of give an update.
But before we jump in, we just want to say a huge thank you to those guys who have helped us through this weekend. I put something out on my Facebook to say, hey guys, we need some help this weekend, some money, help us out.
Yeah.
And you guys really stepped up and helped us out. It was so awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. You guys are a blessing, are a huge blessing. Continue to be a blessing while we're on this journey. Yeah. And we will... And I'll continue to email you guys personally and stuff too, but I just want to say just corporately, like we're in a church service. Anyway, just huge thank you to you guys. We could do a whole video on how much you guys mean to us when you give and comment and engage in the in our channel. It's just been awesome. Thank you. God bless you guys.
Yes. Amen.
So now that we're done with announcements. That's what it felt like. Announcements at church. Yeah. All right, let's get to the sermon.
All right, here we go.
Wait, we didn't have worship yet. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, and the strum.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so this morning, and this was what I'm going to share, and we might get some of other revelation in there as we always do. But this morning, we were, while Devin was praying, I just had this picture. I don't know how many of you have ever seen the movie, The Croods. I'm sure some people have never heard of it. But it's basically the story of a family that is like caveman time period.
Cavies.
And this family, they live in a cave, and that's pretty much where they're at. They survive in this cave. They go out for food, and they come back, but they're in this cave. And then suddenly, like the earth, it's like, I guess everything's getting shaken, earthquakes happening, and their cave gets destroyed. So they have to leave.
Like they can't even go back into it.
Yeah, they can't go back into it.
It doesn't even exist anymore.
And so they get set out on this like adventure that they probably really didn't want to go on. Well, at least the father, Grug, he's just like, we need to be safe. We got to get back to our cave. The
overprotective father.
Yes. But anyway, and they meet another character whose name is Guy. And Guy is kind of out on his own. And he's like, I'm telling you, we got to get out of here. It's not safe. Like, let's just go. And he kind of is somewhat the guide helping them.
Guy, he's like the leader prophet. Of the whole story.
And so they go on this journey, and at the very end of the movie, they're basically, you know, everything's kind of settled down, but they're in a completely different place, and it was like from that moment on, they're on just this new adventure with life, and there's a lot of that they want to be on, and there's just a lot of, especially for Grug, this huge character shift, you know.
Oh yeah, major change for him.
And so as Devin was praying, I'm just like, oh my gosh, our family, what God has taken us through and is continuing to take us through is so much like that movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a movie that we've seen many times with our kids, and we've even, you know, just we've quoted that movie a bazillion times, and
we've reenacted
certain parts of it, and the kids love that movie. And so I was just telling him, I was like, you know, we really are so much like that, because when we were in Kansas City, where we lived, the apartment, God made it very clear that it was like a cave for us.
And he gave us visions about it.
And we were a tree, and there was like the shaft of light in this dark cave that
was in the ceiling.
Yeah.
We were like, and it was the only light that was coming into the cave, and it was shining directly on this tree in the cave, and we were that tree.
And it continued to grow and grow and grow, and we knew that the Lord was going to pick us up and bring us over to Nashville.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking even today, I was like, wow, like for the Croods, when they had to leave their cave, it was this, you have to leave. There was no, well, we could go, but we could stay. No, it was like, no, it's done. It's over with. This time is forever gone. Yeah. And it was very much that way for us when we left. It was like, all right, we have to go. And ever since then, we've been on this journey. And it was very much similar to the Croods because their journey going they're literally on shaky ground. They're on this, it's not, there's no stability because there's earthquakes happening all the time. And like in one of the scenes, they go to sleep at night, they wake up in the morning and a guy is about to fall off a cliff because during the night the ground had just like eroded away.
Yeah. Right up to the edge of where Grug was sleeping, but like he was holding on to this log with Guy stuck in it, and the guy was literally suspended over the cliff. It's like, it was like crazy.
Yeah, and so it's just been like, you can just tell they're facing things they've never faced before, and it's just like, are we gonna live through this? How is this gonna? What are we doing? And
really good picture.
And so it's like that's really what even our time has been here. So really, since we arrived here in December, that's really kind of a great picture of what it's felt like for our family. It's, you know, there's instability when you are going from place to place to place to place. Mm-hmm. There's always been just like, oh my gosh, like you feel like you get to these points where you're on a cliff because it's like, Lord, we don't have any more funds.
Or you're dangling over the cliff, and the only thing holding you is God's hand.
Yeah, and we're like we're not seeing anything yet. And yet, every single time, He's been faithful to come through, and we've made it through. And I'm just like, wow! It was for us this morning. It was such a great example of the journey that we've been on. It's been there's been ups, there's been downs, there's been some periods where it's like, oh, this is cool, you know, like. And very much just like the movie, there was times where there was parts of their journey where it was like, whoa, this is kind of amazing and cool. They're walking through like flowers or whatever, but then go ahead.
There was that one part they were trying to get away from danger, and they ran into this cave, and they were like, oh, this is a great cave, and it's like, wait a minute. Do caves normally have tongues?
Yeah.
And it's like, and it ended up being an animal that was halfway buried into the ground. And it's just like, you know, it's like, no, we're not going to stay here. This is probably not the Lord's will.
Yeah. So it's just, and so also out of it though was that when they finally did arrive, you know, into a safety place, a place where they could be stable, it was though their lives had changed so much and so drastically. There was no going back to the cave. That life was dead. It's over.
Or even that cave mentality of constantly seeking safety in this one little particular spot, and this is where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
It's like they're not even thinking like that.
No, and so it was just like, wow, this is such a great picture. And part of that was, I felt like God was saying, you know, they were constantly going on adventures. There was always new adventures ahead of them. And that, you know, with our life as well, it's like, well, when you do receive the promise, that isn't like, oh, we're done. We've received our promise. We're gonna settle in and make this our big cave. It's like, no, that's not at all. And I feel like with God, this whole last week doing His spring cleaning has really been taking off the the burial wraps, we have John 11:44. It's talking about when Lazarus comes out of the tomb. He's like, okay, remove the cloth. And that's really what God's been doing with us this whole week. But it's so that when we get into the new place, it's like we will see it as still a new adventure. There is always things coming before us, and it's every single day really is an adventure with the Lord. And he's really been just talking and speaking on that of like, no, I'm taking all this stuff off of you, that the cave mentality, and it's come off through the process that I've taken you on. It's really been this journey that he's taken us on, that he's able to get us to the point where he can take the burial cloths off so that we can walk into the new place and have freedom and have just healing in our hearts and to go forward with just this completely different outlook, because the whole family, their whole outlook on life completely changed. And it was like, wow, we get to go on this adventure, and it's amazing and wonderful. And we know that we're going to meet up with things that we've never seen before, but we know that we can get through it. And that's really what God's been showing us. It's like, yes, you are still going to have to face things, but how you get through it is just by the Spirit of God and by listening to him and yielding yourself. I really feel like everything, honestly, it keeps coming back to humility and just listening to the Lord. What is he saying? And
and it's like not dropping your anchor.
Yes.
God doesn't want us to drop our... The scripture literally says that Jesus, that's one of his names. Jesus is the anchor.
Yes.
He's the anchor of our soul. He wants us to drop our anchor in him.
Yes.
And then as we drop our anchor in him, he'll move us wherever he wants to move us. He'll set us in a place. It's fine, because we're not going to be doing this forever, No. It's like he's going to set us in a place, and he's going to, all right, I want you guys to be here now. And this is why. Come on, let's go. And it's like, but we've been talking a lot, what was it, last night and to this morning, or maybe just this morning, I don't remember. But about like how often just the human heart, it's not just an American thing, it's a human thing. We seek safety. We seek, it's like our heart, whether we realize it or not, our heart longs for the garden.
It does.
Place where we're just in this great place with God, and we're just walking with God in the cool of the day. That's what our heart longs for. And a lot of people, their hearts are longing for that, and they don't even realize that. That's why they get caught up in relationships. That's why they get caught up in addictions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They get caught up in work, because work can be an addiction. Career, I got to have my career. I got to have a relationship or something like that. And it's like, why? Because you're looking for that sense of safety. Why is it that a lot of times, people are looking for a home church, or they're looking for that place of like connectedness. You go to high school, cliques don't happen just because.
Yeah.
No, they happen because there's hearts that are looking for certain things, and you see, you get these little groups that form because they feel safe within this group, because you guys can relate to me. Well, I feel safe here because I can relate to you, and we all relate to each other. Why? Because we're all looking for that safety, that sense of security. And it's like, God's like, man, there are some really, really great things about the modern day church, but there's also some really bad things. And a lot of times with church, you have the good and the bad all mixed in.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have the ugly mixed in. And it's just like, but it's like, if we can just drop anchor with the Lord, and that's the thing, we want to drop anchor in a certain culture.
Yeah.
We want to drop anchor in a certain denomination. We want to drop anchor in a certain kind of life. Oh, this is the place that God wants me to get to, and he got me here, and I'm blessed. Yay, I'm going to drop anchor. Yeah. It's like, God might have to snip that anchor. And and it's like, don't do that. You just got to just roll with the Lord and enjoy where he has you every single day. God is infinite. And one of the things that God's been like showing me recently, can I share that?
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but God has taken me to this weird, unusual place I've never been before. And it's like, I'm just pondering. It's a place of pondering without words, of just literally just how massive God actually is. Like, he's so big, like big, massive, huge. All those words don't even really paint the picture. It's just how massive he actually is. And when you sit in that place, it's almost like going to, like, maybe when you go to a place where maybe you're like sun tanning on the beach or something. What are you doing? You're just laying there and you're absorbing this experience that you're having. You know, maybe some people go to sun tanning beds, whatever. I don't need to tan, just in case you... Anyway. But you're absorbing this experience, and it just takes you to a different place, you know? I think that's where meditation and all that stuff comes from, and it's not really good because you open yourself up to demonic spirits. But I'm saying, like, when you can just sit back in the Lord and have him take you somewhere in the Spirit, and you see just how immeasurably vast God is. You can't measure him. How immeasurably vast he actually is. Man, talk about a worry melter. I mean, it just melts your worry. It melts your fears. It melts your anxiety when you can just sit in this place of just recognizing how infinite and just phenomenal cosmic power God is. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
You know, it's like we say, oh, God can hold the universe in his hand. That's a really great picture, but he's actually really bigger than that.
Yeah.
He's infinite. There is no measuring him. He has no beginning and no end. He's always been. So it's almost like, I don't know, when you can just soak in that hot tub kind of experience, it really does change you. It changes you on a level that just, I don't know, psychology and even being in a worship service where the presence of God is really moving, even that doesn't do it for you. What God's been doing with me the last couple of days has just been phenomenal. It's hard to even make, you can't really make a video about it. It's just like, wow.
Like in the Psalms.
This is like crazy. Like how
he talks about, it's like you're like unfathomable. Like it's like, wow, I can't even wrap my mind around
10% of how crazy big you're too wonderful. You know, it's like, and the cool thing is about God, oh man, is that he's so big and all that. But it's like you're talking about love. That's how big the love is. He's merciful. He's infinitely merciful. You know, it's just all these things about who he is are just as big as he is because that's who he is. Yeah. He's not being loving. He is love. He's not being merciful to you. Yes, he is technically, but why? Because he is merciful. That's who he is. You know what I mean? And so it's like, when we're talking about us being on our journey and all the stuff that God's changing us, the change that the journey is working in us, it's like, it's to get to those places, you know, to get to those, you know, it's like you're standing before this door and then this door opens and you realize you're walking into this place where you just see God for who he is. It's like when you go to some of these ancient architectural things in other parts of the world, you step into it and you go, whoa, this is huge. You know what I mean? It's like in your mind, in that moment, your life and how you see things just changes just a little bit. And you just, because that's what God's been doing for me the last couple days, in addition to some of these breakthrough kind of spring cleaning. I mean, I tell you what, the last 2 days, what was it? What's today? Sunday?
Today's Sunday, but Saturday.
So Friday night
and Saturday
was a big one, guys. Big. Oh my gosh, we can't even tell you about it. And then we didn't think, oh, this can't get any bigger. Well, last night it was like big.
Yeah, and honestly, it was like...
And it was more like heart issues and things that keep, you know, like the stuff that we've been talking about through the other videos about buttons and triggers being pressed and how we react to it with, you know, we're fighting through it and we're not our best selves, you know, or we're trying to, but it's like we don't have to try to overcome or try to do something. God's just showing us, look at how much you've grown. Yeah. You didn't even have to try. This is just who you are. Yeah. Hello, did you see that? That's my point. That's what I'm trying to show you. Yeah. I'm trying to show you that's who you are now. It's not something you have to try. You don't want to send a soldier on the field and be like, okay, now how do I put the clip in this gun again? No, that needs to be second nature. Yeah. That's what you learn in basic training and all. Mm-hmm. So it's like God showing us, like, see, look it, this is the fruit of what I've done in your life, right?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, just kind of going along with what you've been talking about is just, again, like, dropping anchor in Jesus. And I feel like that has been, God's really been emphasizing that. Mm-hmm. and just not leaning on your own understanding. And this morning I was just kind of struck again with like how much I spend leaning on my own understanding versus going to God. And it's like God can say something and then I fill in the rest.
And how that's pretty much an inescapable experience.
It really is.
It's just going to happen.
But again, it's like, but I think it's so good. Just, that, okay, this is going to happen, but how can I can give it to God and just work with him through it. And it doesn't have to be a place of great disappointment and things like that, because I'm recognizing, okay, wow, yeah, I really do lean on my own understanding in so many ways, and God's just saying, hey, I just want you to be aware, like, look over here, you're leaning on your own understanding again. It's like, oh, okay, Lord, I'm sorry, let me just lean on you.
And that's the mature response. The immature response was, oh man, but I thought this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I am so upset
that
that's not good. Well, I never told you that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I was just trying to help you go in this certain direction, and then you fill in all the blanks, and then we go through that process enough times, and we come out of it with humility and just thanksgiving, and then once it continues to happen, we're like, oh, I dropped anchor there. My bad. Here we go. Pulling the anchor up.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was something I've been saying a little bit. It's like we need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, in the sense of like just allowing God to just do things in our lives that are asking us to do things, stepping out on faith. Mm-hmm. But then I was also thinking about it, and I was like, what if we can find comfort in anything, it's God. It's really, we have to find our comfort and our source of strength in God, because we're going to be in uncomfortable situations.
Who wants to be our comfort at all times,
And it's like, all right, Lord, we can step out beyond what our hearts, because I think if our hearts are attached to God and we're finding our comfort in him, he is our anchor and he's our source, then the truth is,
where else do you need to go?
You could go anywhere and you will feel safe.
Yeah. You
can be in any situation and you know that the Lord is with you, and there isn't that tension or that, I just want to settle. I just want
that anxiety.
Yeah, the anxiety. Yeah. And so that's really just what God, I feel, has been hitting on today a lot, of just, letting him be our anchor, be the one that we find comfort in, be the one that
safe space
we go to, be the one that we lean on for everything, and
emotional support.
Yeah, just
our
everything.
Weaknesses, our flaws, our concerns, our worries, all that. God, I'm telling you what, man, I just want to say this prophetically. God is saying, I love it when you bring that to me. Mm-hmm. I truly love it. Why is that important for God to say that? Because a lot of times we feel like we're failing, and we're bringing it to God. Like, God, I know I'm supposed to bring this to you, but man, what a failure I am. What a disappointment I am. Here's all my stuff. And God's like, I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
The fact that you're bringing it to God, he's like, what? You're sharing this with me? That's amazing. Okay, well, let me help you with that. I really am excited. I really want to help you with that. Yeah. Let's deal with that. Oh yeah, how you all always keep putting expectations on what I'm saying. Yeah, I see that. Let me help you with that. Mm-hmm. He's actually excited to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas we think the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If you think something about God that's disappointment, anger, frustration, not happy with me, you can just be sure, no matter what your feelings are telling you or what your mind is telling you, you can be absolutely sure that is just not true.
Yeah.
In fact, you can almost go all in, put all your chips on the table, that the exact opposite is true in his heart, in his mind. Because he's already revealed it for thousands of years, that he is not any of those things, you know? And that God just loves us. He loves us like, man, it's big. I don't know how to explain it. It is huge, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the love of God is like massive. It's like the earth is a grain of sand. It's like the earth is like, I don't know how to compare it. It's like the love of God is just massive.
Yeah.
It's massive, you know. It's like he's not trying to hurt us. He's not trying to judge us. He's not trying to smack us. He's not trying to go, you know. If he tells fathers not to be that way to their own kids, why would he be that way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and it's,
anyway.
I think too, like, just over this whole journey, I feel like this week, it really has been like, wow, Lord, you have done such a great work in our hearts, in our lives, to bring us to the point where you can bring freedom. Because I think, especially the heavy hitter issues, it's like
the last 2 days, man.
They really have been things that God has been consistently working on this whole time, and consistently bringing us to a point where he's like, all right, now see, you can respond differently. And that really is the biggest change, I think, is we can respond differently to those same situations, but because we respond differently, there is a different outcome.
Well, it reminds me of when we were watching that Superbook episode and they were trapped in Jonah, and that's wrong episode. My bad. It was when we were watching the Let My People Go.
Oh.
And it was like God was like, now you shall see. And it's like, I feel like this whole week has been that.
Yeah.
It's like now we see like what God has been doing and what he's like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like what you have done, you know? And that's another expectation too, because it's like, now you shall see, like, ooh, now we shall see how we're going to get the promise and get into our home and get into this place. And it's like, well... It's like, just leave that alone. Let's just let's set all those desires and dreams and all that stuff, the obsession on it. Let's just set that on the shelf for a second and not necessarily detach from it, but let's like, what is God actually saying? What is he really saying? It's like, I feel like that's what we've done this week, particularly confirmed by Lana Vosser saying, you're going to see the hand of the Lord and the spring clean hand of the Lord this week and all that. And you're going to see what that means. It's like, now you shall see. And I feel like that's like fulfilled this week.
Oh, yeah.
Like we have seen like, wow, Lord, look at what you've done in here.
Every day this week.
You know, every day. And it's been more intense every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow. Even this morning, there's been some things that have broken off. And be like, wow, I know you thought this and you thought that, but that's just not, that's not what I'm thinking. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
You know? I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good. So we hope you guys were blessed by this video. Yes. We hope that you have seen also the hand of the Lord, and you've seen some evidence and some like progress report from the Lord and how he's worked in your life this week. And we're going into a new week now, and who knows, man, it doesn't matter. It's we're on a journey off the map.
Yeah.
We're on an adventure with the Lord. The Spirit of God is behind us, whispering, sometimes shouting, saying, hey, this is the way, let's walk this way, hey, let's go this way, because I got more for you, you know. Every day that the Israelites went out to get manna, he was like, you got to get fresh manna every day, because that's God prophetically speaking, saying, hey, I have something new to share with you every single day. I can speak to you every single day and never say the same thing twice. And it could be literally about mercy or humility or God's provision or whatever, but he can always come at it from a different angle and show you something that you haven't seen. And you might have been a Christian for 40 years. And you'd be like, wow, I've read this scripture like for 40 years and I've never seen that until today. Because that's how infinite God is. And so I just prophesy in the name of Jesus that you are going to see more of the Lord this week. You're going to see more of His glory. He's gonna unravel that flower. I just see a flower just blossoming. You're gonna see more of what's inside, more layers of the beauty of the Lord in you.
Yeah.
You know, the beauty of the Lord inside of you. Your heart blossoming. You opening up more to Him and trusting Him and leaning more on Him.
Yeah. I agree. And just kind of another word that I know Lana Vosser had said was to just be aware of what you're saying and speaking. Yeah. And so continue. I just encourage you, just continue to sow your words and what you're speaking in your life into what God has already said and what God is saying and what He is declaring. And this again, I'm just reminded again, it's like this is a summer of harvest. It is, and I believe we are seeing the harvest. It is so far like we've been seeing just how we've been seeing the what God has brought us through as far as the growth. And it's like, wow, Lord, yes, like we are seeing that, and it's gonna produce. There's a fruit that's being produced by it. Yeah. It's like, wow, Lord, thank you, but it's going to continue. This isn't a, well, okay, that's it. I guess we're done.
Back to the cave.
Nope,
that's been destroyed.
No, that is gone. It's over. This is a new season, and God is doing new things, and. So just be excited for all that God has to show you. And it really is an everyday thing. He can show us great and awesome new things. Yep. So until next time, guys, we will see you later.
Love you guys so much. Have an awesome, awesome day. Have an awesome week. And we will see you next video.
Bye.
Bye, guys.